Amy from Doodle Dog Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to make this snowman paper mache pick to use in your winter decorating. Let's get started. Alright, to make this project you're going to need some aluminum foil, a kebab skewer, a styrofoam ball. I'm using a 2-inch ball. You need your paint supplies. I've got some white paint, and I'm going to use red and orange and some black craft paint and my paint brushes. I've got some tissue paper here, Mod Podge. I'm going to use it in the brush on, and I've also got some spray on that I'm going to use, and I've got some craft glitter, and you'll need craft glue. The first thing I'm going to do is figure out where I want his face to be, so I'm going to draw some eyes with a pencil. Then I'm going to use the pointy end of a skewer or toothpick and poke in for his nose. And then I'll figure out where I want his cheeks to be. And then I'm going to press in with the flat end of a pencil, just little indentations where I want his cheeks. And then I'm going to take a little piece of aluminum foil. This piece is about 1.5 by 2.5 inches, and roll it into a ball. Get it in a nice, smooth, round ball. And we'll see. Yeah, that looks like a nice size. We'll make another one about the same. Okay, then I'm going to add some glue in the holes. And stick the aluminum foil little cheek balls into the holes. Now I'm going to take a wooden skewer and put it in the bottom of the snowman's head, and that will give me something to hold on to as I work. Then I have this half a styrofoam ball that I use when I'm working, and it allows me to be able to stick that in there when I'm letting things dry. So as this is drying, I'm going to set it aside and cut some tissue paper. I've got just plain white tissue paper here, and I'm going to cut it in strips about 1/2 to 3/4 inch wide. And then I'm going to cut the strips anywhere from 1 to 3 inches long. Once you have a nice pile of little tissue paper pieces, you take the decoupage, and I'm going to use an old brush because it's hard to get the decoupage out of the brush when you're finished. Need to take the nose out. I don't want to decoupage over the nose. And just start brushing on the decoupage medium. Now this is messy, so be sure you have a surface that you can clean up easy. I'm using a plastic tablecloth here. Don't worry about covering up the eyes. Those were just there to give you a guide to figure out where to place the cheeks. We'll add the eyes in later. Then you just want to start placing your tissue paper over the styrofoam ball. Just cover the cheeks. And you also want to make sure that you are going in all different directions with your tissue paper. You can add more decoupage as you go. It can sometimes be hard to tell where you've put it and where you haven't, but if you're not sure, just put more there. In fact, when you get all done, you want to have several layers of tissue paper everywhere. I'm going to try to smooth out all the lumps, but it's not going to be perfect. That's okay, because later we're going to paint and then going to add some glitter. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to put it in my styrofoam here and let it dry. Once the paper mache is all dry, I'm going to take my white craft paint. I'm using Anita's acrylic craft paint. Any craft paint would work just fine. And I'm going to paint the snowman all over. And I'll set that aside to dry. And I'm going to take the toothpick top that I'm going to use for the nose to paint the tip of it orange. And I'll put that in there to dry also. The paint is dry, so I'm going to go ahead and add a second coat of paint. I think it needs it. Okay, now that the second coat of paint is dry, I'm going to again figure out where I want the eyes, and I'm going to use a pencil to mark them, because if I don't like where they are, it's going to be easier to cover up than if I painted. Make a hole with a toothpick for the nose. And then stick the toothpick in. I think that'll be fine. So now I'm going to take the toothpick out and paint those with black paint. I'm going to use a toothpick and dip it in some black paint. and paint my eyes. Then I'm going to take just a little bit of red paint and I'm going to water it down quite a bit so it's very runny. What I want here is just colored water. Then I'm going to use a paper towel to blot out a lot of what's on my brush, and then I'm going to paint it onto the cheek areas. And I'm going to take a little bit of glue and stick it on the end of the toothpick nose and poke the nose in. And wipe off all the extra glue there. I want a glob of glue. Now I'm going to let that dry again. His face is dry, so now we're going to move on to the final step, which is glittering. And it's especially messy, so I've laid down a piece of wax paper. And I'm going to use this spray-on Mod Podge. I'm going to just make sure I get it well covered. Then I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to sprinkle the glitter over a piece of cardstock so I can save any extra glitter. Now I did this one with some super fine glitter. I did another one earlier with some crystal-like glitter, and I wanted to show you the difference between how they look. Now that it's all done, I'm going to change out my skewer. If you've noticed, I got a little bit of paint and glitter and glue on it, so I'm going to loosen it up, pull it out, and switch it out for a new one. It's all finished. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button below and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.